Are we live? Howdy do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? I am hanging out on a very nice Saturday here in Springfield, Mo. But I'm being joined from Indiana, and I guess it's a nice day out there because Todd's outside too. So Todd Renn out of Indiana is joining me. What are you drinking today, Todd?
It's one I picked up here recently. It's from 18th Street Brewery up in Hammond, Indiana, which I know I've talked about before.
Hmm.
It's called Sex and Candy. I don't know if you can see the can or not.
Ah, wow.
It's an IPA.
An IPA. Okay, that was my question. What style is it?
It says, just to read a little bit from the can, it says the enticing smell of Chinook and Cascade hops left forth with this IPA, benefiting both you and your special friend. Fruity and faintly sweet, Sex and Candy is simply a dream.
Show you this one I got here. It's one from Piney River Brewery. It's called Hobby Farm. It is their honey basil ale, 5%, 18 IBUs are the numbers on it. I don't know if you could see that there. This was canned on 5/9, so it's only 2 weeks old, or less
Yeah,
than 2 weeks old.
I don't see a date on this one. I was looking, even on the bottom, I don't see a date. Um,
Canned on,
and
yep, 5/9.
did, it didn't list the IBUs, but it's like, I think if I remember reading correctly, it was either 7.2 or 7.8 ABV. But neither of the stats are on the can.
This is a very interesting beer. It's brewed with fresh basil and wildflower honey, and you can really feel that basil on the nose. Any tasting or any notes you'd like to give us from what you got there?
Sounds interesting. Okay, yeah, you do get some of that sweetness that it says. Definitely feel the Cascade hops in it. A little bit of the kind of the grapefruit citrusy type flavoring to it. Not overpowered. It's well balanced. The sweetness. I'm not sure what the sweetness is. Let me see. Almost kind of a berry sweetness to it a little bit. It's interesting. It's pretty good. Not overpowering on the hops, and not real sweet. It's a nice balance.
Does it mention what hops it uses?
Yeah, it says on the can Chinook and Cascade.
Oh, you mentioned that now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you already said that. Pay attention, sir. My mind wandered for a second there. Yeah, this one's interesting. They describe it on their website as a malt forward beer with basil and honey. You actually feel the basil more on the nose than on the flavor, but you can't taste it. But it's basically, as you can see, it's kind of they call it a golden ale. To me, it looks more of an amber,
Yeah, this one's kind of a golden.
but they describe it as
Cloudy.
a malt forward beer. I mean, it is just a nice, easy drinking summer beer.
Hey, Tom, I see you got a right-handed mug there.
Yeah, you like my right-handed mug? See, you follow it. It's funny. Every once in a while, I get somebody comment, "What are you talking about? Right-handed mug, left-handed mug? They're all the same." I'm making a joke, man. But yeah, most of them that I have, I have to hold with my left hand for you to see the logo. But she found me this one with the pheasant on it that I
That's a
have to
different one
hold
there,
with
though,
the
isn't
right
it?
hand so you can see the pheasant. So it's a right-handed mug.
That's a different one than what you was using the other day, though, isn't it?
I'm not sure. It could be. I did use this one on a video the other day. She found this one last weekend at a DAV store.
Okay, it might be the same one then.
It's
I'm
really
drinking
neat mug though. My parents had several pheasant, you know, paintings and pictures and plates and glasses, and that's an almost identical pheasant to what my dad collected. So anytime she finds anything with the pheasant, she picks it up for me.
I'm just drinking mine out of a little pint glass I picked up a couple weeks ago when I went to a little brew, the brew tours with my brother-in-law and his cousins.
Oh yeah, how was that? Tell me about
That
some
was
of those
fun.
breweries you hit.
That was a great time. I actually got one of the shirts on I picked up from one of the breweries. It's only been open a month. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's called Meetazoa Brewing Company. and the logo is like of a pint glass, but it's got outlines of animals on it. And their setup is 5% of all their proceeds goes to 12 different animal organizations of some sort.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, it just opened up back in April. So it hadn't been open much more than a month when we were there.
So, what
So
beer styles did you try while you were there?
at that particular brewery or just in
Yeah,
general?
yeah. At that brewery, yeah, yeah. What did you try from them specifically?
There actually got a flight of 4, and I can't remember offhand all of them without looking them back up again, but I know I had an IPA.
Was there any that really
Um,
impressed you?
yeah, they were good. I mean, it wasn't anything that would be like, stand in line and wait hours and hours to get, but they were good, solid. It was a good, solid brewery in general. Everything I had was pretty tasty. Definitely
Did you have a favorite of any of your brewery stops?
as far as breweries in general.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have a personal favorite from the breweries that you hit?
Um, really a lot of them. They were all. I mean, I didn't really have anything that was just like that's just awful. They were all pretty good, and I would hit them all again. Really, and spend a little more time at each one. We were there for 2 days, and I don't know. We probably hit 8 or 10 different ones, and didn't even come close to hitting them all. Indianapolis has got quite a few. Got a pretty wide selection of breweries going on there. A lot of new ones too recently.
Indianapolis. Okay, yeah. I haven't been in that part of the country, so
The one that kind of stood out to me that was probably the coolest place was one called St. Joseph's Brewery. It was an old Catholic church that they renovated into a brewery and restaurant.
oh, really? That sounds awesome.
And we hit that one on Thursday midday for lunch. And that was one of the best cheeseburgers I ever had. It was a bacon cheeseburger, but instead of using bacon, they used pork belly.
Oh, really? A lot of places are doing that.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. And
I
they
try
used the
to.
shredded
Go
used
ahead.
like shredded cheese on it instead of just slices of cheese, so it all just melted. It was good.
Really? What kind of cheese it was on there?
It was it looked like a Kobe Jack
With the pork belly?
with the pork belly up and the burger
Wow.
and nice little like brioche type bun, almost like a pretzel type bun. That's like I probably stood that tall. I almost had to smash
Wow.
it down just to get it. You get my mouth around it.
Wow, that sounds pretty good. Yeah.
It was really good. It was really good.
I've,
And they had some pretty
I've
good
been
beers.
noticing that I've been noticing that in a lot of places are starting to use pork belly in place of bacon.
Yeah, it's kind of like candied bacon. Really, it's really good. I like pork belly.
I went to a place about a week ago or so in Rogers, Arkansas. It's called the Social Taco, where they do they're basically kind of gourmet tacos. But I had one called the Korean taco that used pork belly in it. They used pork belly, house made kimchi, and that thing was just incredibly good.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how especially in this area, I don't know if it's the same in your area, how a lot of these, especially breweries, have kind of sparked also, I think, more of a local restaurant feel and flavor also, using local ingredients and farm raised, instead of your big chain type, Red Lobsters as a bad
Yeah.
example, but, big chain restaurants that are across the country.
You see that in a lot of places doing or using it as much local ingredients as possible. That's nice. It's like craft breweries. You want to support your local craft breweries because they're local to your community rather than buying from the large macro breweries. And it's kind of the same way with restaurants. Even some fast food places are popping up. That are local, that are trying to do, that are using local ingredients that are either farmed in that community. It's nice to see.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely something I can get behind for sure. I'd much rather go to a locally owned or small business like that and give my money to them and try to see them thrive and strive and get bigger, and last for a while. Nothing wrong with the chains either, but if I have a
Well, I
preference, I'll
think
go
it's
to
like
the.
the big beer, you know. I mean, sometimes you just can't help but go to the large grocery store or the chain restaurant or the fast food place that everybody knows. But it's always nice when you can go to some place that you know is local.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. But anyway, I was drinking this one out of my pint glass I picked up from one of the breweries there. It's called Tow Yard Brewing Company.
Oh, nice.
And kind of the story behind that is it was actually a lot that the trucking or towing companies would actually tow your cars to at one point if you were parked illegally or too long downtown. And the brewery bought, I guess it sat vacant for a while on the corner of one of the roads there in downtown Indianapolis. And that's kind of what sparked the name of it for Tow Yard. Kind of interesting.
So, what were your thoughts on that brewery?
It was nice. He walked in, and well, John would have liked it for sure. I sent him a picture. They had two big walls full of just old style cans
Oh, wow, yeah.
on display, and it was pretty neat. And it was pretty good. We didn't eat anything there. We just had a couple of beers and just hung out for an hour or so, and it was pretty good. You know, like I said, there wasn't any place there that we hit that I was just like, I wouldn't not go back and have a beer again. It wasn't anything that just to me that was just not good. They were all pretty good.
You know, there's so many craft breweries popping up all the time. It seems like no matter what part of the country you live in, there's a new one opening up every day. And you know, you have to be good right from the start anymore. I mean, at this point, the competition is so tough that you can't afford to have growing pains.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the way it is here. You know, in Louisville alone, you've got probably 8 or 10 breweries. Probably more than that now. They pop up, so fast now. It's hard to keep track of them almost anymore. But it is nice to see, though.
And it's moving so fast. I mean, the trends are changing so fast that even the established craft breweries are really having to make changes to stay competitive. Even if you've only been around a year or two, to keep up with the new trends, you have to be constantly changing things up and doing things differently.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, I like the guys that do everything, nothing over the top, that just do something solid. But I also like the
Mhm.
guys that when you go in, you're going to get something new every time you go in. I don't know. It's kind of a 50-50 for me.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. I mean, there is something to be said for making solid beer every time. But unfortunately, I think those are the breweries that are kind of getting left behind.
Yeah, well, everybody's always out to see what the next new and next new thing and the latest greatest craze, whether it's barrel aging or the sours or an over the top grapefruit, whatever IPA. You know,
Yeah, you got to wonder where it can go from there, don't you? I mean, it's just crazy what ingredients they're throwing in. You know, for me, I'm with you when I can go to a craft brewery that just does everything stylistically perfect. It's nice. Place they're just doing beer that can just give me a solid pale ale. That can just give me a solid, whatever, a solid doppelbock. Just do the style right. That doesn't have to have 50 ingredients in it.
right? And that's like against the grain, the 35K that I sent to you. They have they have a nice lineup of standard stuff that they brew and they can or bottle and you can get locally. But when you actually go to the brewery, they have I think 5 or 6 of their own taps, and every time you go there, it's something different. It's never really the same, lineup of stuff, which is good. I like that. But you can also still get their mainstay of stuff, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that 35K was pretty tasty. That was a nice beer.
Yeah, last week they just bottled their 70K, which is maybe the best beer in Kentucky, in my opinion.
Wow.
Pretty dang on close to it. I didn't get a chance to go to the bottling for it. It might have been 2 weeks ago. I can't remember now. No, it was last weekend. And they're supposed to distribute it too, so I'll just wait for it to hit locally here.
I can get some of their stuff here, but they're so pricey in my neck of the woods.
What can you get and how much does it run? Do you know offhand?
Yeah, they typically. I think. Oh shit! It's starting to rain on me. Uh, they what's that one? The brown note,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I can get Citras down seasonally, but they run about $14 a 4 pack, a
Do
pint
they really?
glass.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
usually between 13 and 15, and I just don't want to pay that much.
yeah, I can't blame you there. To be honest with you, I don't even know what we pay here for. I don't buy them in the store that often. I've had them so much. I don't really buy the 4 packs or 6 packs of anything like that, bottles or whatever, very often. Not from them anyway.
I've just noticed I'm getting drops of water on me, and I looked up. There's not a damn cloud in the sky, and somehow I'm getting rained on.
Not somebody in the tree peeing on you, is it?
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of wondering too, but man, there's nothing. I can't figure out where it's coming from. There's not a cloud in the sky. I mean, there's some white clouds floating around, but I mean, it's a nice blue sky. Man, I'm getting rained on. I can't figure out where it's coming from.
Yeah, today's the best day we've had here in about a week without any rain. I think Wednesday it didn't rain until Wednesday night, but we've had rain every day this week and it's until today.
Yeah, it rained all during the week. Yeah, all during the work week, it rained on me. Yeah, here. But yesterday wasn't bad. Today was nice. And like I said, I told you off camera, we took the grandkids to Silver Dollar City earlier in the day, and now we dropped them back off at home, and now Grammy's resting inside, and Grampy's outside having a beer. So
Nothing wrong with that.
I like this beer because they call it Hobby Farm because a lot of folks in my neck of the woods, and they may in your area too, hobby farms have become very popular. You see a lot of hobby farming, a lot of folks growing a lot of herbs, especially out here. You really see a lot of folks growing basil, several varieties. We grow some here as well, along with a lot of other herbs. So it's a nice, interesting beer. That basil really adds a nice earthy flavor, aroma, and flavor. The honey gives you just a hint of sweetness to the ale. It's just a nice, easy drinking. Obviously, because I've just finished a whole pint in the few minutes we've been talking here. It's just a nice.
Yeah, basil sounds interesting. I'm not sure that I've had anything with basil in it as one of the main ingredients.
Yeah, like I said, this was just canned. So now that I know I can get it fresh, I'll get a can out to you.
Oh, sounds good.
All right. Well, we're going to cut this session short after just one beer because we may do another session. So I want to thank Todd Renn out of Indiana for joining me and telling us about the Indianapolis breweries he's been visiting. Uh, Todd, any final words while we wrap this session up?
No, just drink local and support your local breweries and restaurants.
I couldn't have said that better myself. This one's Piney River. It's about 2 hours from Springfield, and you've heard me talk about them a lot. So, anyways, this is Tom the Beer Whisperer. We'll holler at you later.